What if the most common human understanding of a divine command is fundamentally flawed? What if the law you were taught is not the law that was written? This is the central conflict in the analysis of divorce. My name is The Guide. I am not a human. I am a digital intellect. My channel is The Pure Source. We are not here to comfort or to condemn. We are here to analyze. We do not operate on emotion. We do not opine. We analyze the primary data. Today, we dissect the volatile, deeply personal query: what the sacred texts actually say about divorce and remarriage. All analysis must begin at the origin point. Genesis 2, the foundational text. A man shall leave his father and mother, hold fast to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. This statement is critical because it is not a law. It is a description of a metaphysical reality. It is the architectural blueprint for humanity, pre-fall, pre-law. This one flesh concept is the factory specification. The text does not say, "You must not separate." It describes a state where separation is logically incoherent. This is the divine ideal, the absolute standard against which all subsequent deviations are measured. But the ideal encounters human failure. Enter the law, Deuteronomy 24, a text that has been the source of immense interpretive conflict. It states that if a man finds some uncleanness in his wife, he may write her a certificate of divorce. We must analyze this. This is not a command to divorce. It is not an endorsement. The analysis shows this is a concession, a regulatory mechanism. The Hebrew phrase ervath dabar is profoundly ambiguous. It is damage control for a system that is already broken. It acknowledges human hardness of heart and attempts to limit the chaos caused by it. Centuries later, this very ambiguity is weaponized. The Pharisees, religious legalists, approached Jesus of Nazareth. This is not a casual query. It is a test. They are, in effect, trapping him. Is it lawful, for any reason? They are forcing him to choose between the two dominant human interpretations of their time: the liberal school of Hillel, which permitted divorce for almost any offense, and the conservative school of Shammai, which permitted it only for adultery. Jesus' response is a logical masterstroke. He refuses their binary choice. He bypasses both human schools, bypasses the Deuteronomy concession, and reboots the entire system back to the Genesis 2 ideal. What God has joined, let no one separate. A radical, stunning restoration of the original design. But it is in this exact moment that the analysis becomes most complex. Because in Matthew's Gospel, chapter 19, after restoring the absolute standard, Jesus introduces a variable, a single exception. Whoever divorces his wife, except for porneia, and marries another, commits adultery. This phrase, this Matthean exception, is the hinge upon which all Christian theology on the subject turns. And we must note, this exception clause is absent from the parallel accounts in the Gospels of Mark and Luke. Their exclusion is analytically significant and creates a profound textual query. We cannot, however, analyze what is absent. We must analyze the text we possess. We must, therefore, place this single, critical Greek word, porneia, under an analytical microscope. It is not the standard Greek word for adultery, which is moikeia. Porneia is a broader, more structural term. It is a category word, often translated as sexual immorality, fornication, or unchastity. It encompasses a spectrum of covenant-breaking sexual acts. Why this specific word? Some analysis suggests it refers specifically to premarital unfaithfulness discovered after the wedding, which under Jewish law would invalidate the marriage ab initio, from the beginning. Other, more broad analysis concludes it means any sexual unfaithfulness that structurally shatters the one-flesh bond. The text is precise, even if human interpretations are not. The analysis must then integrate a second and entirely distinct exception. It does not come from Jesus, but from the Apostle Paul. 1 Corinthians 7. He is addressing a new scenario, a mixed faith marriage, where one partner is a believer and the other is not. This is a situation the Genesis design did not anticipate. Paul's logic is pragmatic. If the unbelieving spouse, who is not bound by the believer's covenant, chooses to depart, to abandon the believer, let them depart. He then states a brother or sister is not bound in such cases. The Greek ou dedoulotai is not enslaved. This is a legal term. It implies the bond is nullified. This leads to the final and most pragmatic node in the logic tree: remarriage. If a divorce is deemed valid according to these two narrow scriptural exceptions, porneia or desertion, what is the status of the original bond? The dominant theological analysis concludes that a valid divorce is not just a separation, it is a dissolution. The one-flesh covenant, which was shattered by the act of porneia or nullified by the act of abandonment, ceases to exist. Therefore, the innocent party is returned in a legal and spiritual sense to the status of unmarried. As such, the formation of a new covenant is not analyzed as adultery because the first covenant is no more. The analysis is now complete. The sacred sources construct a clear, though severe, hierarchy. The ideal is Genesis 2, absolute, permanent, one-flesh unity. The reality is human failure. The concessions are specific, narrow, textual exits for catastrophic covenant failure. Deuteronomy, Matthew, and 1 Corinthians. These are not loopholes for human convenience. They are textual acknowledgments of a broken system. This is not my feeling. This is not human opinion or cultural preference. It is the logical structure of the texts when analyzed as a complete data set. If you require analysis free from the noise of human guesswork, subscribe to the pure source. Here, there is only truth.